At 22:17 local time, 3 B-1B Lancers, Packers 61, 62, 63, were pushing north across the Persian Gulf at 18,000 feet, loaded heavy, moving fast, and running straight towards something that shouldn't have been there. For 2 weeks, the coalition had been turning Iran's military into scrap metal. Airfields cratered, SAM batteries smoked, command bunkers folded. And through all of it, one target had been deliberately left untouched: Kharg Island. 90% of Iran's crude oil exports flow through that one patch of rock and steel. The coalition wanted the military hardware destroyed and the oil left standing. Because you don't win a war and then set the global economy on fire. Tonight was collection night, but inside Packer 61, something was going wrong. The weapons officer had been watching his bomb solutions track clean for an hour, on tight clusters, single-digit accuracy. Then the numbers started crawling. Predicted impact points drifting east like someone bumped the table during surgery. 1 meter, 3, 7, 12, and widening. On any other target, 12 meters is a rounding error. On Kharg, 12 meters puts a 500-pound bomb through a crude oil tank instead of the cruise missile bunker 187 meters next door. He pulled up the electronic warfare display. GPS jamming, radiating from the island's northern shore. Strong enough to poison every satellite-guided weapon in the formation. And here's the thing. Whoever placed that jammer buried it in a hardened basement underneath a building, so even if you found it and bombed it, the signal kept right on transmitting. Like trying to cancel your wife's credit card while she's the one who handles the bank login. My GPS degraded. Drift 12 meters and climbing. Jamming source, bearing 345 northern shore. The strike lead didn't hesitate. 4 words. Push the Black Aces forward. 2 A-18E Super Hornets from VFA 41 banked hard and lit afterburners toward the island. Find the jammer. Kill it. Before the bombers reached the release point. 9 minutes. That's all they had. 9 minutes while an MRSAD battery on the far side of the island was already spinning up its search radar, and it had just found 3 very large, very hot targets flying in a straight line at 18,000 feet. And every mile closer made the jamming worse. 22:19 local time. The fall line. The lead Hornet, callsign Ace-11, dropped through 15,000 feet with his FLIR slewed to the island's northern shore. The jammer resolved on infrared. A squat concrete building on a gravel pad. No antenna visible. Just a structure screaming enough electromagnetic noise to poison every GPS weapon within 40 miles. He pickled a GBU-39, 258 pounds, GPS guided. The SDB tracked its coordinates faithfully, and faithfully missed by 15 meters. The jammer was degrading the very weapon sent to kill it, like trying to put out a fire with a hose that the fire is melting. Ace-12 came around lower, 12,000 feet, painting the building with a laser instead of trusting the poisoned GPS direct hit. On the FLIR, the building folded inward, debris blooming white hot. The jamming signal dropped by half, and kept right on transmitting. The source wasn't in the building. It was underneath it. A hardened basement that a 258-pound warhead couldn't touch. Ace-11 needed a penetrator he didn't carry. Both Hornets set up for a third pass, orbiting directly over the jammer site, working the problem. What neither pilot knew was that they'd drifted north, out of their assigned suppression corridor and squarely into the bomber's fall line. If you look here at the geometry, a 500-pound bomb released from 18,000 feet at 550 knots doesn't drop straight down. It arcs forward nearly 2 miles. Everything under that arc is the kill zone, and the weapons officer on Packer 61 was reading a Link 16 picture that was 12 seconds stale, showing both Hornets safely 2 miles south. They weren't. But weapons free. 24 GBU-38 JDAMs dropped into the night. Ace-12 saw them first, not on radar, on his canopy. Dark shapes cutting through moonlit cloud, falling through his altitude block. Dozens of them. Break south now. 6 Gs instant. 180 pounds per square inch, compressing his spine into the ejection seat. Vision collapsing to a gray tunnel. 6 Gs in an F/A-18 feels like someone parked a truck on your chest and asked you to do calculus. Ace-12 broke right. Same Gs, same tunnel vision. 24 500-pound bombs fell through the space both Hornets had occupied 3 seconds earlier. The debrief footage, reviewed frame by frame, showed the nearest JDAM passing within 200 feet of Ace-11's canopy. A quarter second between a near miss and a blue-on-blue catastrophe. Radio silence. 4 seconds. I'm an eternity. Packer 61. Your bombs just came through our airspace. A pause. Copy. Confirm aces are clear? Barely. Fix your link picture. Ace-12 muttered something the cockpit recorder caught, but the official transcript never would. Don't put that in the debrief. 22:24 local time. The MERS. The Aces hadn't even leveled out when the DSO on Packer 61 cut across the radio. Search radar bearing 345. PRF matches MERS. They see us. Here's the thing about the MERS. Think of it as a home renovation project where half the parts come from the original American Hawk missile and the other half were whatever Iran could build in the garage under sanctions. Not as capable as the Russian S-300s Israel smashed last year, but it throws Shalamche missiles at Mach 3. And 3 B-1Bs at 18,000 feet have the radar signature of a minivan with the high beams on. 30 seconds later, MERS illuminating, fire control, they just went from watching to aiming. The Growler orbiting 40 miles west caught the emission in under a second. If you look here at the ALQ-249 jammer pod, it floods the enemy frequency with enough power to turn the display into static. Like trying to read a license plate while someone power washes your windshield. Raiden 71. Jamming. Magnum. An AGM-88 Harm lit its motor toward Mach 3. The Seeker doesn't care if the radar shuts down. It already knows where it lives. But the MERS commander reached for his backup. The electro-optical tracker. You can jam a radar. You cannot jam a camera. 4 GEF-101 engines at military power glow against cold upper atmosphere like lit cigarettes in a dark parking lot. He didn't need radar anymore. He just needed to look up. Vampire, Vampire, SAM launched 2 rounds. 2 Shalamche punched through the darkness at Mach 3. Chaff bloomed silver on the threat display. Flares arced away like burning confetti. Both missiles tracked through the chaff. Optical guidance, following heat, not radar. Packer flight, defending. Packer 62 and 63 split. Packer 61 held course. The weapons officer needed 18 seconds of straight level flight to compute the final bomb solution. 18 seconds on railroad tracks while Mach 3 missiles closed and 35mm tracers rose from the eastern shore. Bright green on the fly-R, white hot through the canopy, crisscrossing the cockpit like fireworks, the kind that delete you. The pilot's hand froze on the controls. Not fear, discipline. One flinch and the bomb solution resets. 18 seconds becomes 25. Nobody survives 25 seconds in a stream of 35mm twice. 12, 13. Tracers walked across the nose, close enough to light up the cockpit orange. 14. Ynev the Harm hit the MERS site. Thermal bloom swallowed the position. 1 Shalamche corkscrewed into the Gulf. The second kept tracking on residual optical lock. 16, 17. Bombs away. Packer 61 broke hard right, flares streaming. The remaining Shalamche passed close enough below that the DSO felt the pressure wave through the airframe. Splash MERS site. Packer 61, confirm weapons off. Affirm, all 24 away, and I need new underwear. Copy, 22:26 local time. The Ghost and the Mine Runners. While Packer 61 was bleeding seconds in a stream of 35mm, something else had been crawling toward Kharg 50 feet above the waterline. A JASM ER launched from Packer 63 12 minutes earlier, before the formation even hit the jamming wall. Here's the thing about the JASM. It doesn't fly to the target, it sneaks. Radar cross-section smaller than a seagull, weaving between known emitter locations like a delivery driver who memorized every speed camera and only takes the back roads. It doesn't use GPS for terminal guidance. It matches what it sees on infrared against a stored photo of the target. Facial recognition, but for buildings. Jamming is irrelevant. On the Growler's sensors, the MERS backup battery simply vanished. One massive thermal bloom where the replacement radar had been setting up. 2 MERS sites in 90 seconds. Iran's air defense over Kharg went from damaged to deleted. The island wasn't done. Surface contacts. 2 fast movers clearing the Joshan breakwater, northeast, 35 knots. Patrol boats, loaded with mines, running for the supertanker channel. The one corridor that 90% of Kharg's crude flows through. Drop mines in it, and no tanker approaches for weeks. The whole point of keeping the oil standing becomes meaningless if nobody can reach it. Ace-12 was the only striker in range. Problem: his GBU-39s were spent on the jammer. All he had left were 2 GBU-54 laser JDAMs. Accurate, but he'd have to descend below 10,000 feet to hold the laser on a moving boat. I'd right into the same 35mm guns that just tried to ventilate Packer 61. He went anyway. Ace-12 rifle. 11 seconds. On the FLIR, the lead boat was there. Then it wasn't. One frame, a thermal smear cutting through black water. Next frame, a white-hot bloom and debris scattering like a firecracker in a bathtub. The mines she carried added secondaries rippling across the screen. The second boat turned hard for the channel. 40 knots. Trying to dump her mines before the next bomb arrived. She needed 2,000 more feet. She got 600. Splash. 2 mine layers. Channel is clear. Confirm status of the mines? At the bottom. Good place for them. 22:34 local time, concrete coffins. Packers 62 and 63 made the final pass. The mine storage bunker on the east shore, EM. 52 rocket-propelled rising mines and set-off contact mines stacked floor to ceiling. The obvious bomb is the one bomb you absolutely cannot use. A standard 500-pounder cracks the roof and sets off everything inside. Primary blast radius 35 meters. Secondary from the stored mines north of 300. Nearest oil pipeline junction 280 meters east. The weapons officer went counterintuitive. 2 GBU-31s, 2,000-pound penetrators with delayed fusing. The BLU-109 warheads punched through the roof, drove to floor level, and detonated, collapsing the structure inward, burying the mine stockpile under hundreds of tons of concrete before a single round could cook off. The 2,000-pound bomb was the gentle option. Pipeline intact. The communications center took 2 more. On the sniper pod, the building folded like a cardboard box stepped on from above. Secondaries rumbled from underground for 30 seconds. Then nothing. Packer 61's targeting pod did one final sweep of the island. Cruise missile bunkers, rubble, MERS battery, crater, jammer site, collapsed. Communications center, gone. Mine storage, sealed under its own concrete. Patrol boat pier, 5 hulls folded at the pilings like aluminum cans. The 35mm gun emplacements that had lit up the sky 10 minutes ago were cold and dark on infrared. And the oil terminals stood untouched. Every storage tank, every loading pipeline, every crude export facility, not one scratch. If you look here at the sniper pod footage, you can see the terminal lights still on. Automated systems running. As if nothing happened 200 meters away. That's the shot, that's the whole point. Destroy everything military, preserve everything economic. Thread a needle at 550 knots in the dark while people are shooting at you. The formation turned south. 3 Lancers, 2 Hornets, 1 Growler. Column of black smoke behind them, growing smaller in the sniper pod's rear aspect view. Ahead, the running lights of the strike group spread across the horizon. The USS Tripoli holding station at the mouth of the Gulf, flight deck lit, ready to recover aircraft. Nobody on the frequency said anything for a long moment. Just the hum of engines and the soft ping of the terrain-following radar sweeping empty sky. Then the strike lead keyed his mic one last time. Kharg is open, but nobody's coming in today. If you enjoyed this video, so watch our breakdown of the opening day of Operation Epic Fury. Bye for now.